I'm going to teach you only the specific, appropriate knowledge that I use to go from looking like this to looking like this. What causes weight loss? If you look at every single diet and you pick only those that work and you group them together and then you ask yourself a question: what makes all of these diets work? And what's the one thing without which none of these diets would actually work? So at first, you look at cutting out carbs because that's what you heard online. So is it cutting off carbohydrates that make you lose weight? Then you go and you look at people that are eating only carbohydrates, basically, people on a vegan diet or whole food raw vegan diets, and they are getting leaner because it's not carbs. You don't have to cut out carbs to lose weight. So it's not really carbs, but what is it then? Well, let's look at the next logical place to go. Do you have to cut out fat? Not exactly. There are people that are eating ketogenic diets that comprise basically most of eating fats, butter, and they are losing weight as well. So maybe the protein. I need to cut out protein. There are actually some people that are eating 80% carbohydrates, 10% protein, and 10% fat. And guess what? They are also losing weight. So what's the one thing that all of these diets have in common that makes people lose weight? They are all creating a calorie deficit. But what does it mean? Calories are units of energy. You can find them in foods in forms of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and also, not to forget, alcohol. 1 gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. 1 gram of fats has 9 calories, and 1 gram of alcohol has 7 calories. And don't forget, if you are just drinking something and it has carbohydrates, fats, or protein in it, it also has calories. It doesn't matter that it's just a liquid. So how do I get in a calorie deficit, and what does that really mean? You eat less calories than you burn. You don't have to eat less calories than you burn every single day. You just have to eat less calories than you burn on average in a given period of time. It can be a week or a month. What matters is how much calories did you burn in a given period of time, and did you eat less calories in that given period of time as you burned. Okay, so you eat or you drink your calories. That's how you get your calories in. But what about calories out? How do you burn your calories? You burn them through basal metabolic rate. Basically, how many calories it takes just so you can stay alive. Then you burn your calories on digesting foods. Yes, digesting food also burns calories. Then you burn calories on every single movement that you do. Even sitting, standing counts because you have to use your muscles. And your muscles burn calories. And lastly, you burn calories through exercising. So now that you know this, you just have to eat and drink less calories than you burn. There is an easy estimate of how many calories you should eat every single day. Basically, multiply your weight in pounds times 14. Multiply it by 15 if you are moderately active. If you are highly active, multiply it by 16. Once you know how many calories you need to maintain your weight, you are going to eat less, and that's going to cause you to lose weight. Okay, but how do you make sure that you are going to lose fat and not just muscle? You have to do resistance exercise. Your muscles need a reason to stay. If you don't use them, they are going to leave. You have to work out intensely enough to provide stimulus for your muscles to grow, or to at least provide a reason for your muscles to stay, because you will let your body know that you are actually using those, and therefore it cannot get rid of it. And you do that by training close to failure when you are actually working out. And yes, it takes effort. If you want to build muscle as you are getting leaner, you have to be in a calorie deficit, and at the same time you have to get stronger. This is going to be harder because your recovery ability will not be as fast as when you are eating at around maintenance levels of calories. Therefore, you will need to lower your frequency, aka how often you work out. If you track your lifts and you are progressively getting stronger over time, you know that at the very least you are maintaining your muscle mass and probably even building some muscle. I recommend downloading the app Strong and tracking every single workout. You measure basically how many sets you do and how many repetitions you do. Measure that precisely because that will be your guide to know if you have recovered enough the next workout. Okay, so how do you create a calorie deficit? You do it by eating and drinking less calories than you burn over a given period of time. Therefore, you don't have to create a calorie deficit every single day. You can do something that I like to do is just skip an entire day of eating once a week and boom, you just created a calorie deficit when it comes to whole week, given that you are eating at your maintenance on normal days and you are not overeating. But that's totally not necessary. If you want, you can just drop 500 calories each day and just eat 500 calories less than you need to maintain your weight and you are still going to lose weight. Because what matters is the calorie deficit. It doesn't matter what strategy you choose to make it happen. If you want to lose 1 pound of fat, you will have to create calorie deficit of roughly 3,500 calories. Time here doesn't make a difference. If you create a calorie deficit of 3,500 in a single day, you will still lose 1 pound of fat. The way you can do it in a single day, for example, is if you walk about 20,000 steps in a day, and in that day you are not going to eat anything other than just water and electrolytes. So basically you will be creating a calorie deficit of about 3,500 in that single day. You will be losing 1 pound of fat in those 24 hours. Now I'm talking about it because that's the strategy that I use for myself to create a calorie deficit. But again, it's not necessary to do it my way. You can choose your way. The only necessary requirement is that it creates calorie deficit. Another super important thing is that you need to know how many calories you are eating and drinking in a day. I recommend that you start tracking your food and beverages in an app called MyFitnessPal or download any other app that works, and you can figure out how many calories are in the food that you eat. What's important is that you have to measure every single gram of the food and every single gram of the beverage that you are drinking, because that's the only way how to really know how many calories are you really eating. You don't have to do it every single day for the rest of your life, but at least I recommend commit fully to it for the next 2 weeks, because that way you will actually realize how many calories you are actually eating, and you will see that you maybe thought that you were in a calorie deficit and you realize that, well, you were not. And that's the reason why you were not losing weight. Here are some strategies that I find help me create a calorie deficit easily. Number 1, drinking only water, because then you won't waste any of the calories on beverages, but you will be able to use all of those calories that you have for this day on filling up your stomach with actual food, which is going to make you less hungry. Number 2, walking daily. It is absolutely amazing for losing weight because walking will make you burn calories and at the same time it will not make you more hungry, which means that walking is the perfect exercise for creating a calorie deficit. Because if you do something like swimming, yeah, you burn more calories per hour, but you are also going to get much more hungry. Number 3, eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. This tip makes sustainable weight loss much easier because fruits and vegetables are the lowest calorie dense foods there are. Basically, it will allow you to fill up your stomach on less calories. Therefore, you will feel full and at the same time you will still be in a calorie deficit because they are so calorie dilute that you can eat almost as much as you want of them and still not overeat your calories for the day. Number 4, cutting out oils and processed crap. Oils provide 900 calories per 100 grams of food. Basically what you are doing is you are trying to eat less of the most calorie dense foods and eat more of the least calorie dense foods. Therefore, you will be able to eat more food, which is going to provide less calories overall. Therefore, you will be able to eat more volume of food and be fuller on fewer calories. Remember, the only requirement to losing weight is creating a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter what I do or what any other fitness influencer is doing, because if you cannot stick to it, why does it matter? Pick something that you can stick to. But how can you stick to the strategy that you actually pick? It all starts with a simple question. You ask yourself in the morning, can I stick to it 100% just for today? And then by tomorrow morning, when you ask yourself the same exact question, you will have proof that you can, because you just did yesterday. And that's how you build your discipline on the facts of reality instead of just wishful thinking and hyping yourself up that I'm a disciplined person and I can do it. No, you just look at the fact that you just did it yesterday. That's the reason why you can do it today as well. If you want some help with creating a weight loss strategy that fits your life perfectly, click the link down below and book a free consultation session with me where we will create one just for you.